Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades 2 Early Access Edition for what will likely be the last time because the full release is happening on September 25th very soon, so looking forward to that. Last time, we were checking out the rival Kronos fight for the first time, and we got so close to winning, but unfortunately fell just short. We also unlocked the new Nyx aspect on the black coat. That we've yet to try this out in full. However, what I'm thinking we do today is we squeeze in one more session before we get the full-blown release. I've been talking for a while about getting back to the Chaos Trials, so I feel like I kind of owe you guys that before we get to the full release, because I imagine once we do that, we're going to end up getting very distracted with all that stuff. So why don't we hop in? There are plenty of new Chaos Trials for us to do here. As a reminder, since it has been several months, I think, since we last did these are basically optional challenge runs that only go for a specific floor. Now, in some cases, they are more like almost a power trip run of sorts. The game more or less guarantees you're going to get a really strong build of a certain archetype, and you see to the right, the number of eyeballs is the indicator for how difficult this is supposed to be. So, for example, this one with only one eyeball might be along those lines, something that is very straightforward, might be really powerful. The game also will determine which floor, which weapon aspect, and as you can see here, which keepsake we get, and if we complete the run, then we get this, what is it called? Darkness or Night Shadow, something like that. One of those crafting resources. Admittedly, although the runs have been really fun for these, it does feel like, despite having done several of them before, the rewards haven't been that meaningful. There aren't that many ways to use that resource, but enjoyable nonetheless. Then there are other ones that, as the number of eyeballs increases, the difficulty theoretically is getting higher. As you get to the sort of mid-difficulty ones like this, then you're probably looking at either being on a later floor, maybe not as strong of a build that they're starting you off with, or that they're more or less seeding you with the guaranteed rooms going forward, because remember, sometimes they give us a whole bunch of boons right at the beginning. And then, in other cases, we have seen some that have a whole bunch of the eyeballs. Let's see if we have any left here. And those tend to mean that you are working with some kind of niche or otherwise especially difficult mechanic, and those really are challenge runs in that case. So since it has been a while since we were last doing these, I feel like we probably want to start things off simple. It looks like they may even be ordered by difficulty here, the easiest ones at the top and then most difficult ones at the bottom. As you see this one here, I think we've done one, maybe two with the full eyeballs, but don't think we're about to run straight into this. And I think this is one that we saw previously as well, or at least we were taking a look at it. We haven't tried it, but generally speaking, I think there is at least one trial per weapon aspect and at least one trial per keepsake. So if you see any here that I have on my screen that you don't have on your game, then that's probably because you've yet to unlock some of the particular things you need in order to gain access to that Chaos Trial. So I think we'll probably start off with Trial of Thunder here. That is theoretically our most straightforward one. It's just an Erebus, so first floor shouldn't be too bad there. Aspect of Malinui. Haven't used that very much. Cloud Bangle, I think we didn't do this before because we had taken a long time to unlock that Zeus keepsake. Well, let's hop in. Let's give it a go. Oh, the other thing is that unfortunately these don't give you any darkness. So that is another way that I feel like you could make these runs a little more rewarding. I think theoretically you are, after you do an incantation, allowed to rerun a specific trial to get more bones instead of getting the usual crafting resource. But let's take a look at where we stand here. Because, yeah, we are loading in at the beginning of the first floor with a bunch of high rarity boons. So that already seems like a big deal. One way you can make them a little bit easier, these trials, is if you see it's going to give you a certain weapon aspect, you can upgrade that aspect proactively. So that way you know you're going to get a little bit stronger. There are other more discrete ways that the game builds these challenges. We do not control our Arcana cards. The game predetermines which ones we have, although I imagine it still uses whatever upgrades we have on those Arcana cards. So again, upgrade those and that can make things a little bit easier as well. And then your familiar. The game also predetermines which familiar, if any, you get. So our charge moves are faster. We channel our charge moves. Okay, I'm already getting the charge move theme here. Hex also charges up automatically. Yeah, very charge-centric. Extra life and magic. Restore magic every second. We have 3 Death Defiances. and we gain life and magic as time goes on. So usually you find that there is some sort of theme that a given run is building around, so it is useful to take a second at the start of each run to see what kind of cards are we being dealt here. And then the other thing is, I think we might squeeze in a few of these Chaos Trials in one go here, since I feel like I kind of owe it to you guys. I've been teasing it for a while, and it's been so long since we last got back to these, and as I said, I imagine we'll probably be quite distracted once we get the full release and won't be doing Chaos Trials for quite some time. So, big attack, big special, those are Zeus. This is actually Hera, I think, yeah. Cast is a lower rarity on Hera than Magic Restoration, so I'm getting the idea that this is supposed to be very Hex/charge move centric. If we can get Selene soon, that'd be great. Chain Lightning, strike foes with magic, or strike foes with lightning whenever we use magic. Bolt effects may strike additional times. Chain our lightning attacks to additional enemies. And are these hammer upgrades? We get hammer upgrades at the beginning as well. This very much looks like a run that is absolutely busted right from the onset. Channel your charge attack faster and use less magic while you channel your attacks, move and fire. Okay, so it's channeled attack in particular is what it's focusing on, it seems.
You underworld gods in your ancient ways. I know only that you've done something to shape the course of this evening, for I can feel it in the air. May it be to our benefit.
I hope so. All right. Oh. Now, we have done Hera's Chaos Trial already, and we got both King's Ransom and Queen's Ransom on the same run, which functionally meant that we were able to get, I think it was something like a level 41 boon from that. A single boon that was level 41. I think it was the Zeus special or the Zeus cast, something like that. So if you didn't see that one, definitely check it out. It does make me a little tempted to go this route, because I wonder if the game is going to fix that we get a bunch of Zeus and or Hera encounters going forward, setting us up for some big value on this. Still feels like the timing is not really right, though. So we give up all of our Hera boons. We have a whole bunch of Zeus boons, only one Hera boon, though. So this is... I mean, it's going to make all these +4 levels, so... It is very powerful on these. It's just that if we were to then try to flip the script and go Queen's Ransom later on with the other duo boon, then we'd need more Hera stuff happening at that point. And still, if we got even more Hera and then used King's Ransom, it would be more effective. What is the legendary, though? Whenever you first deal damage to susceptible foes, may destroy them outright. That sounds pretty tempting. I don't remember this. Have we taken that before? And then I have to imagine, yeah, we have 5 air boons. Can never deal less than 50 damage. I think we have so much rarity already on our boons that it's unlikely we will deal that low damage. Besides maybe this. I think that's maybe the least enticing out of all these. I'm going to go Shocking Loss, and if we can get a Hera boon before we see King's Ransom again, I'm hoping that we do see King's Ransom again, and that would be fantastic. There's Shocking Loss for... There's... Okay. Yeah, the legendary boon procced multiple times there. Okay. That looks pretty insane, and yeah, I have no recollection of having gotten that before. So yes, more Zeus, and I do think, at least to a certain extent, that which rewards we see in the rooms is guaranteed on, or at least highly weighted in these Chaos Trials. Zeus goes lightning. So it's not a coincidence that we're going to see a lot of Zeus, maybe some Hera. Okay. Oh, and we can rarefy some of this stuff, of course, because we have the Zeus Keepsake. Rushing causes foes to be struck by lightning bolts. So these are unfortunately only common rarities, so it does make sense for us to rarefy. Damage from charge moves immediately activates blitz effects. I think that works well when we have a whole bunch of blitz effects, because that's the curse on almost every Zeus boon. Otherwise, we get additional cast support. I think we go with this. Given how much Zeus stuff we have, I think that's going to be the biggest deal. Okay, definitely want Selene. Given just how much charge up stuff we can do here. What is this? Oh, that's the thing that charges our magic. We've seen the offer to take this boon so many times. I don't know if we've ever taken it, because it always seems like, there's something better there. But there is our answer. That's what it looks like.
I draw you down, O moon.
So if we could get a Zeus duo boon, that'd be incredible, of course.
The king of the Olympians bestowed on you some of his thunderous strength. It ought to be more than sufficient on its own, but let us not leave anything to chance.
Okay. And there it is. Okay. Hex launches a seeking projectile that inflicts morph and up to 5 susceptible foes. I don't know if we've seen this duo boon before. This is not usually one of the hexes that we take. But maybe this is a good opportunity to test it out. Okay, so I think we have to go Hera. In large part because there's just too much potential to combine Hera and Zeus with the Queen/King's Gambit duo boons. So we haven't taken any damage yet, which I'm sure that I'm about to curse. I'm about to jinx that, no question. But it means, as we can do this, and that was the last enemy, so we just win. If we get, I think in this case it would be the other Gambit, the one that we didn't see, it would sacrifice all of our Zeus boons to increase the rarity of a Hera boon. In this case, that means we'd get a ridiculous number of levels on Engagement Ring, but we would sacrifice all of our bazillion Zeus boons, so we'd have almost no boons remaining. So, get a little ahead of ourselves, but let's see what happens here.
Field within your underworld, yes. A solid portion of the residents there are due to failed marriages, most typically their own. I bless each matrimony that I can, but it can only do so much.
Alright, I mean, we've been going to the Morning Fields for a very long time now, so this feels like this was something way back in the backlog. Okay, it is straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary here. We don't have a dash boon yet, but this is significant still, because again, whether it be the Queen's Gambit or whatever it was, that's the name of a TV thing, Lids, that's different. Whatever it was called. The Queen and King's one. In either direction, the number of Zeus or Hera boons that we have is meaningful. Make Hitch last longer, deal more damage. Make one random boon become heroic and gain 1 level. Let's do that. I mean, technically the thing that would benefit most would be Engagement Ring, because it's our only common rarity boon. So it's only a small rarity upgrade on any of the Zeus boons, but it's also a level, and it still counts as a Hera boon, so it can still be our sacrificial lamb later on. And it was Engagement Ring, alright? Technically speaking, the one that we benefited most from, so we'll take it, and then again, given what happened on the Hera Chaos Trial, with the absolutely insane combos, I cannot turn down any Hera or Zeus rooms in good conscience. Even if we see a hammer, that might normally be the one thing that would make me question that a little bit, but
A lightning sigil.
not sure I can even that. I don't know if I could do.
Olympus.
Let's see what we get here. Okay, basic Zeus stuff, but again, we can rarefy. In fact, wait, what did we... Oh, we didn't rarefy this one last time. We probably should have, to be honest. Get the Binding Circle one, get the Dash one. After we take damage, we get... This is the Revenge boon, basically. I guess we'll do this. It does potentially make it a little bit easier to land our
So be it.
cast.
Sure.
Sometimes also becomes a little bit trickier, actually, but... Okay, so we are almost certainly going to go that route, even if it is more difficult of directions. Okay, this is, I suppose, the one way that you can get bones from these Chaos Trials, that or from a full-blown shop. But we don't have a lot of monies. I think we've just grown so accustomed to using the Charon keepsake right from the onset and being able to buy any and everything that we want, or almost any and everything that we want in the early stages, and that's not the case here. So, I mean, I think we're fine. Regardless, we'll save up in case we want to buy anything in, I assume, what will still be a more or less guaranteed Charon shop in the penultimate room. Well, let's go here. Let's see which of the bosses, mini-bosses, it is.
Still rooted here, I see.
It would be so fantastic if you were to get immediately killed. I would just love that. But in the end, we didn't take any damage anyway. So, you know what? It's fine.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Alright, we could get this air quality, which we saw before. We turned it down because there were so many other good boons at the time. It is still really good. It's just we also didn't have that many things that it would affect at that point, and that may still be the case just because of how many things are high rarity. Like, that's still 50 damage. This might still be the only thing that isn't. And then this is also giving... Oh, that's Omega Blitz specifically, not normal Blitz? Oh, kinda, sorta. Phrasing's a little bit confusing there. But that's also more damage. So, tell you the truth, this isn't that meaningful. Get a higher rarity version of the Revenge damage boon, or a higher rarity of the dash boon. So take your pick. I mean, I guess we'll just go rarity here. I mean, ideally, we're not getting hit. We have yet to be hit, I think, still. But that's gonna happen at some point. So might as well make that a little bit stronger. Or, you know, I think we do the Thunder Rush, actually. Because I think that might be the most meaningful thing to combine with the Shocking Loss. Is you could potentially one-shot enemies just by running past them, which is kinda insane. And now we only have the choice of a palm. A little unfortunate. Yes, we do have some nice boons that we could upgrade, of course, but still not likely to have the same sort of high-end potential that we could potentially have with, I prefer to have gotten the other guys, but not quite the same sort of high-end potential. Oh, I forgot that you technically don't die in the process? Yeah, it upgrades something that we already have, but it's not like we're getting one of the amazing boons here. Okay, so we can get more damage on this. Get that to reappear more quickly. Guess we're doing this. I mean, none of these feel like they are the things we would have liked to have seen.
Never get enough of those.
Oh, I mean, have to do this. Is this the penultimate room? It is not the penultimate room. I mean, this is one of those runs where, as I said, it very much is just giving us a crazy amount of power. So I kind of just want this to go on as long as possible so that we can have a bunch of fun with it, because it is already a ton of fun. So if this floor could just keep on going, that'd be great. As for who we pick here... Oh, okay. So I was thinking that obviously we have way more Zeus than we do Hera, although to a certain extent they have a lot of synergies with each other, at least when it comes to the duo boons, except if we're thinking about which god or goddess we don't want to make angry at us. I think Hera might be the most challenging one when she's angry with her environmental effect that she causes. I think Zeus just creates circles of damage on the ground like many of the gods and goddesses do, but that's not what Hera does. Hera creates a much more annoying and seemingly much faster area effect, damage, ability, whatever you want to call it.
Excellent.
So we'll deliberately choose her for that reason, to avoid making her mad. And then if Zeus gives us something great, then alright, we have one more Hera boon that may or may not help us along the way. So our hitch effects, and again, all just common rarity here. Maybe that we don't have the Arcana cards that are increasing the chances of good rarity boons. Because we're seeing a lot of common stuff. Cast damage any foes as they enter. I still don't really get how this one works. It seems from the phrasing as though this means every single enemy is going to take 60 damage as soon as they spawn in. But do we have to have the cast down in order for that to be the case? And then any and every enemy automatically gets hit for 60 damage? Because, I mean, yeah, you should have it down, but, I mean, especially with this build, we're pretty much just spamming the attack button and watching everything get insta-deleted. Hitch right now is technically coming from that cast. Our cast is, as it stands, quite powerful right now. Charge moves create a fissure, deals damage in a long line, but uses more magic. I mean, we are using a lot of charge moves, so from that standpoint, this is actually the best one. But it does use more magic, which could be a little tricky.
I may occasionally disagree, but you stay out of it.
Alright.
Here he comes.
Yep, that is. Create the circles on the ground. Ooh, don't stand there. Okay, that's the first time we got hit. So be it. I think we'll be okay.
Let's all just take a breath.
Our might is best applied against our common foe, but do be mindful of your place next time.
All right, Zeus. Well, let's see what you offer, because this is kind of what I've been waiting on. Not Gambit, Ransom. So +4 levels for each Hera boon, and now we have several more Hera boons. So that makes it much more impactful than it was at the very beginning, which is why I delayed it. It was a risk, because we didn't know that this was going to pop up later on, but it means we've 1, 2, 3? I think it's 3 boons from Hera, meaning we're getting +12 on everything. We are losing the one that gives us the +1 level and heroic rarity, but we were going to sacrifice the engagement ring for King's Ransom anyway. So, yes, this is what we were looking for. All Zeus boons +12. There you go. So, oh, right, we got a palm for you. Okay, so I am kind of curious how much damage we're talking about here, and it's pretty huge at this point, even more than it was previously. Oh, and this one, it affects what the reappearance time is. I think it was something like 9 seconds originally. Now it's down to just 2. And admittedly, I don't think I've ever used any of these yet. Okay, you press this when you go next to it, and that's what does it. Okay, so we can pretty much do that whenever we want at this point. Almost a 50% chance that our lightning bolts will affect 2 additional enemies. That's pretty insane. Damage, that's the King's Ransom we're looking for, and again, if we were to get a Hera boon, and then get Queen's Ransom, we would then transform all of these into an upgrade to that Hera boon. The problem there would be, we'd probably only have 1 Hera boon to receive all of these upgrades. It would be a crazy amount, but that's all theoretical. That's all academic at this point. Okay. Now this is a little tricky, because Hermes does not have as much in the way of direct supporting boons. It's not going to set up a King's Ransom or a Queen's Ransom, but it could make us faster in various ways, which would be nice. Or we get the gold, which, assuming we're still going to see a shop as the penultimate room and may have the option of purchasing some boons there, that is tempting. I mean, even if we take this, will we get up to 150? Because that's a pretty critical threshold, and then maybe we can at least buy 1 boon from the shop, or we could even turn down the shop if there's a free boon in the other room. So, I mean, technically this is worth 150, this is worth 100. Let's go this way. I do hate those enemies. Fortunately, we are absolutely insanely powerful.
Straightforward.
Certainly was.
Ran into big old Heracles, did you? My stepmom sent him on another labor of some sort. Got the feeling that his heart's not in it anymore. But hey, he's tough, and we could use the help.
You see, but that's the thing. We have recently become aware that maybe we shouldn't trust him so much. Unfortunately, this is the highest rarity one, but... Oh, wait, no! Okay, I thought this was the one that gives you more money over the course of every room. I was going to say, at this point, since this is a 1-floor run and we're near the end of the floor, it wasn't going to do us much good. But does make the first purchase cost less and then another appear, and we were just saying we might be about to go into a shop after this, otherwise we can dash more frequently. Haven't needed to dash very often, to be honest with you. Each time you slay a foe, deal more damage. I mean, a higher rarity version of this would have been incredible because we're killing a bunch of enemies really quickly, but you could also argue we just don't need it. So I think this actually does still make sense. And then this might end up being... Okay, no, not the penultimate room yet, but we do still get more gold here. I think that's good. So that means we can get especially aggressive in the next shot. It's insane. So bear in mind, we obviously had a whole bunch of boons before we even started the first room. And so this is going to be stronger than any run you could organically make from scratch outside of a Chaos run. So that's why I wanted to do one of these first. So it is just crazy powerful. It's a bit of a warm-up. And then it's another guaranteed Zeus room. Chaos, the timing is very awkward. Because almost certainly at this point, it would mean that we would not be able to evolve that boon. We would just be making ourselves weaker. So we're probably going to turn it down. There is basically no upside to it, besides the potential for crafting resources there, but that's another thing. Not only do you not get bones on these runs, even if you try to take the bonus bones weapon, we've tried it in the past, doesn't count on these runs, you also do not ever collect gathering resources like no rocks to mine, no fish to collect, anything like that, unless, you know, you get a mini shop like we saw where you might be able to buy some of those things.
Hear me on my authority.
Okay, we do get air quality again, but now even more so than before. I mean, after all these levels, is anything doing less than 50 damage? I don't think it is. There might still be one boon that's at exactly 50 damage. I think that might have been the one in the past. So yeah, I think this is doing exactly nothing for us. Bear in mind, although every Zeus boon that we had previously got upgraded, I don't think that is the case going forward. I think this one is staying on level 1, although I could be wrong about that. I don't remember the fine print. We do the revenge damage one. Or basically better value on the cast. Oh, we don't have a cast anymore, right, because we sacrificed it. We should probably have a cast of some variety. Yeah, and that is just a very basic, normal, or common rarity and level 1 Zeus cast. So we might drop it down on the ground occasionally, but otherwise, it's not going to be the focal point here. And I think this is the penultimate room. Yeah. So for certain, whatever we get from Chaos will not evolve. So it's all downside, no upside. That means this is a free Hera boon, which could be incredible if it were to give us the Queen's Gambit, or Queen's Ransom, except we would need at least one Hera boon for that to even be possible, because it's a duo boon, and we sold off our last Hera boon, so that's no longer a thing. I think that means we're headed here, especially because it benefits from the boon we got from Hermes before. We will get double
I've returned.
of this. So double Zeus, I can certainly support that.
Olympus, I accept this message.
There are only 2 Zeus boons remaining. Oh, and we're about to get another Zeus boon after this. I think we are getting every single Zeus boon. That one doesn't do anything. Oh, it reappears. Okay, I assumed it was free, to be honest with you, and apparently it's not. We will take it, because although it probably won't do us much good, I mean, we have to, right? It does mean we're not going to be able to afford getting a tiny bit of healing or upgrading a random one of those boons, which is a little unfortunate, because those probably would be more impactful, but I mean, it's the premise, right? To be able to say that we have now gotten every single Zeus boon in the game on a single run on a single floor is pretty incredible. So, if ever you wondered what it would be like to go all in on a specific god or goddess, technically we still have one boon from Hermes right now, and it is giving us an indirect benefit, nothing directly combat related. Everything else is either, okay, there are a couple of hammer upgrades I think here technically, but everything else is all Zeus. And it's insane, as we hope to now demonstrate against Hecate.
Well. Headmistress, why is it that we have to keep this up? I've passed your test repeatedly. We're each needed elsewhere.
You may be strong, but not yet strong enough. and evidently quite impatient too. Shall you attempt to talk Kronos out of a fight as well?
I mean, maybe one day. We might not be getting that far away from that.
Of course not, but I could be halfway to the morning fields by now if not for this.
Alas, that things don't always go our way. Go on now, vent the anger that you feel. We each have much of it to spare.
Alright, let's see how quickly we can delete her. Extremely quickly. I also did completely ignore that she was doing that attack because I wanted to just, well, yeah, immediately delete her. I still would love to see if it's possible to get our, oh, we do also have the Hex that we can use, could have used. Is it possible to get her to be instantly deleted by that legendary boon? Or does that only work against basic enemies? We'll use the Hex once we transform back, preferably not doing that. I'd like to transform back into my usual form, please. Thank you. Okay, hit you guys. Don't know if we actually needed that or not. That's okay. Those ones got insta-deleted. And there we go. Almost certainly. I mean, we've had some crazy overpowered runs, oftentimes from these Chaos Trials, but this one certainly ranks up there. Among the best. And that is why I wish we could just have this run extend on forever.
What's going on?
But I'm afraid that's not how these work.
Return to Shadow now.
This trial is complete. I'll bid you return whence you came.
Back to reality we go.
Trial finished.
Trial finished, but as I was saying, that was definitely one of the easiest ones. Might even be the first one that many people do, since I would think that Zeus is probably one of the first keepsake that people gets unlocked. But then if we work our way down here a little bit, we could go Trial of Flame next, because again, I'm thinking, you know, we'll do a few of these in one session here. And so this one may be basically the Hestia-themed trial, because I think this was another goddess's keepsake that we took a while to unlock, so we didn't see these in the first round of trials we were doing. Burn through any and everything that stands in your way as you engulf the fields of morning in an inferno of Hestia's making. So I think, much like what we just saw with Zeus, this is basically going to give us an overpowered Hestia build. This one does have 2 eyeballs rather than the one that we saw in the previous run, so theoretically the game is trying to tell us this might be a little bit more challenging, but I imagine that may be in large part because it's the Fields of Morning, it's a couple floors further on in a standard run. And wait, what was the aspect of Moros? I just wanted to double check that. It's been a while since we've used that. Charge attack fires a Daybreaker that deals damage in an area around it every 2 seconds. So theoretically, charge attack, which is what we were doing primarily last time around, could still be the focal point here as well. So let's give it a go.
I can overcome this.
Alright.
The goddess of the hearth and the potential of her flames.
So let's take another look here at what we have. So in this case, we are starting with a bunch of boons right at the beginning, but bear in mind, we're starting on what would usually be the 3rd floor, so that's not that out of the ordinary. But we have a Poseidon attack boon of epic rarity, heroic rarity, Hestia special. It looks like it's a bit of back and forth between Hestia and Poseidon. Maybe some pretty serious potential for duo boons here as well. I mean, we have not done much with Hestia, to be honest with you. Even some of her basic boons, I don't know if we've taken all of them. And her duo boons, I imagine that also means we've seen few, I mean, probably at least one, but very few of them. So, not Zeus, Poseidon plus Hestia, I couldn't tell you what that does, but it is interesting thematically, water and fire. Cast, that's Poseidon. Sprint, that's Hestia. Wait, Sprint leaves a Cinder Trail. Any damage you take from burning is reduced to 1. I don't remember ever seeing this before. So we can walk on fire, more or less. Whenever your attack or special deals damage, restore magic. Wow. So charged attack, I assume that still counts? That sounds like a great way to sustain magic. Then hold cast to aim fireball that explodes on impact at the binding circle. Splash effects from Poseidon also inflict froth. That's where they have a chance to take extra damage. Scorch effects deal damage much more quickly. Specials fire an extra projectile. Channel your charge special faster and use less magic. Okay, so game is actually pointing us in the direction of the charged special, not the charged attack. I thought this was specifically attack. Oh, your attacks linger and explode if struck by your special, so it does require a little bit of both attacks and specials. Okay. This might take a little bit of getting used to how the game is trying to encourage us to go here. And this is... Those are the ashen coals that we're creating on the ground behind us. It looks cool. Definitely haven't taken it before. As I said, I feel like we haven't even seen it. Doesn't surprise me that these are the two that we see here. Again, that's not a coincidence. I think it is, if not entirely guaranteed,
And reveal my path.
which room rewards show up and when. It is at least the case in some rooms. Oh, we also didn't check, though. Oh, dear. There may be some other things to bear in mind, like which Arcana cards we have, and or which fear-related things there are in effect here, because it does seem as though these guys are doing some stuffs that I'm not a huge fan of. And I'm also kind of forgot the lack of range. You would think, well, with this being technically a ranged weapon, that you would have decent range, but it's very mid-range-ish. That's attack, and then if we hit it like that, yeah, so it really should be attack, then special. Or ideally, a charge special. We should take a closer look here, because I saw all those shields. Okay, what else are we working with? We restore life in between locations. We have more life and magic. Okay. Sprint is faster. Pass through most foes. Death Defiances. Gain life and magic after 5 locations. Deal extra damage to foes with at least 2 curses, which, assuming we're making a point of combining Hestia plus Poseidon, should be the case pretty often. Take 0 damage for 3 boss fight encounters. That's good. Extra gold. Yep, we have a lot of gold. Boons, higher chance to be duo. Okay. We have rerolls. Okay, that could help us get those kinds of duo boons. Any boons have higher chance to be epic. Okay. Oh, but hold on. And the thing that I was noticing was this. All foes have 2 shields. Okay, that's the only thing in play here. And then I just walk straight up to you. So it's this. If I could hit you, and then it's that.
Got it.
Yeah, that also gives us a little bit of max life. I don't know enough about potential Poseidon plus Hestia combos to be able to say whether there's an order that we would prefer to take these in. Are the bones blocked? Oh, not one of these guys again. They're annoying. That's a little bit of extra magic. Okay, well, here's Poseidon. I guess we'll go with him first.
This corruption.
Oh, that's a... Yeah, those rocks were blocking me. Ooh, I did not see you sneaking up on me like that. Yeah, admittedly, although this does seem like it could have the makings of a very strong run, we are not as immediately ridiculously overpowered as we were last time, at least with the burst damage. Last time it was, you press a button, everything gets immediately deleted. So, maybe we'll get there.
On green earth do you reside now, niece? It resembles some of Demeter's rolling fields of grain. Who knew old Hades had a pasture growing in the underworld? If but a rather dismal-looking one, near as I can tell.
Alright. Oh, here is the duo that we have not yet taken. The one that we were perhaps considering, or talking about before. Oh, but also, hold on. Gain life based on how many water boons we have. We have 3, so that is worth a decent bit, but it's actually a little less than a standard health centaur heart, so probably would prefer this, assuming that it's any good. If foes with froth are struck by your fire effects from Hestia, they are engulfed in steam, which makes them take 20 damage every 1/5 of a second. For what duration? Lasts for 2 seconds? Okay, that's a lot of damage. For the total duration, at least. And this also sounds good as well, but I mean, unlike the stuff we were seeing with the Queen and King's Ransom, where there was technically, potentially, a reason to delay and get greater value from those duo boons later on, I don't think there's any reason to believe that this would become stronger if we were to hold off. So we'll take it now. And then, just, of course, further increases these synergies. Oh, yeah, wow. Of combining Hestia and Poseidon. Ugh. It's considerably slower. I know technically it doesn't require that we charge things up, unlike previous run where I guess we didn't need to last time, although I was primarily going that route. None of the animations are quick, especially if you... The special in particular feels slow. Well, no, both of them, really. And if you, as I said, don't have as much immediate upfront burst damage as we had before, then you do need to do that combo at least once in order to take out an enemy, and at that point, they have enough time to potentially hit you back. Well, special circumstance.
Got to bring plenty of heat where you're going.
Okay. Let's see. Hot Pot? I love the name of that boon. We could rarefy it. Gain chance to dodge, which is doubled against Scorch-afflicted foes. If that were higher rarity, I mean, yes, we can rarefy, but still feels like there might be better stuff we could do. Charge Special also launches a fireball, but uses more magic. So, a lot of damage for it. Whenever you inflict Scorch on a foe for the first time, inflict more damage. That's pretty tempting. Just want to double check what is technically the thing that is applying Scorch right now. It's mostly the special, and the special is critically important to us. Charge Special, yes, if we have time to do it, would be nice to work into the rotation a little bit more, but as I said, it already feels pretty slow. So I feel like we go with the more simple option for now, and then later on, if we see that one pop up, maybe then we'll take it. I mean, it's Hestia either way. This one theoretically has the chance for higher rarity. It's a mini-boss. But this is actually a little confusing here, because this is 2 rooms worth of rewards. This is 1. We've seen in some cases in the past, particularly with Echo rooms, that the game has kept track of, you know, if you're only taking 1 room worth of rewards, then it's not going to... that doesn't mean you get less rewards total by the end of the floor. It just means you're going to get, you know, rooms with... You'll get like half a room, or... Well, usually there are 3 rewards per room. If you see rooms that have less than 3, that doesn't mean that you're sacrificing a reward. It just means it's going to be however many you were missing in that room showing up later on. Whatever the remainder is, basically. So I think we would still get an extra room if we were to go this way. But some of the mini-bosses are a bit of a pain here. And we don't feel like we're as immediately strong. Sure, I'll go for it. I don't love it. And this is not the guy I wanted. I wanted the other ones, I think. Mostly just trying to get rid of these guys first, to be honest with you. To the extent possible. This guy may have other ideas, though, because he does like to do that. Turned invisible, but he was still taking damage over time, which was kind of funny. Please stop teleporting. I need to actually hit you with the combo. Come on. Steam might get him. If not, it's going to be close. Yeah, not quite. Whoa, then that does actually deal damage. A little bit. There we go. Okay, he poked us ever so slightly. But in the grand scheme of things, not so bad, and theoretically means our reward is a little bit better here. We can swap the cast from Poseidon into a Hestia boon. Increase the rarity in the process. Cast has not really been in the rotation much at all, to be honest with you. We do see this, which, as I was saying, felt like it could be nice. Higher rarity still would be even better. We do have rerolls. In fact, I think this might be one of the best rooms to do rerolls, because this is theoretically higher rarity boon. I can't remember if that's the case after rerolling as well. I feel like we've seen that with things like the Yarn of Ariadne, that rerolling does not necessarily guarantee you're still getting the higher rarity, but we'll give it a shot here.
Sure, why not?
Okay, well, it's all rares again. Anything that we prefer? Foes perish in a blast that damages any surrounding foes. I kind of like that. I think we have seen this once before, and it was quite good. Depends on what sorts of enemies you have and where they're positioned, but still. Fireball one again. I mean, I do like this conceptually. I just really want this to be a high rarity, and it, like if this were epic or even heroic would be difficult to get, but that could be incredible. Deal more damage to foes that are nowhere near other foes. Basically, this is the area of effect one. This is the single target one. So, take your pick. We'll go that route. We did start with extra gold. So there is something to be said for going this route. And again, that's one room. This is 2 rooms. So, technically speaking, I think we'd still make up for the room that we're skipping by going this way at some point. This is Hestia. It is a palm. Those things could both be helpful, although one would think we're still going to see more Hestia later. We'll go Hestia. The shop, one would think, would be very likely to have guaranteed Hestia stuff, but can't guarantee that. Have this.
Grow golden once again.
Get that. Obviously, the palm is right there. Save the, Oop. Save the healing for the end. I guess there's a question of whether we feel like we'd benefit more from upgrading our existing Hestia boons or waiting to get a new one first. I couldn't really tell you which one we would prefer, but we are using our special pretty aggressively, so upgrading our special, I feel like, could be pretty useful.
Whole hearts.
These guys are annoying, especially because they have more AoE than their animations would suggest. Where are you going? What are you doing? That was very strange. Oh, I did not see you had a whole bunch of those just hanging out in the corner, and we just ate all of them. That was kind of devious. Okay, so we can upgrade the sprint, the cast, or the scorch effects dealing damage faster. Technically, it's not a raw damage upgrade, but it is a damage per second upgrade. So I think this probably is still worth doing.
One to go.
Okay, now we do this. Or was it one of those exploding things over here? Maybe that's what blew up on us that dealt so much damage? Here goes nothing. Try this one now. Those were theoretically armored enemies, and I think they more or less still got taken out immediately by the combo, which is very nice. Like, these guys are really nasty. I'd love if the Scorch was sufficient to get rid of you, although apparently that is not the case. No. There we are.
In the name of
this.
Hades.
What do we get here? Deal more damage to foes if they're nowhere near other foes. So this was the single target damage one we were talking about. Obviously against Cerberus in most situations, this would be very nice. Though it's only 21%. Wow. I mean, yes, it affects every source of damage, so it is nice in that way, although kind of would have thought that'd be a little bit higher, especially given rarity. Oh, we still have the option to rarefy, speaking of which. Has to be common rarity 1, I think, because we only have this keepsake at level 1. Charge special also launches a fire... Oh, right. We want this one to be high rarity. Chance to dodge is doubled against Scorch-afflicted foes. That is really nice defensively, especially when we're kind of medium to oftentimes close range with our build here. I guess we take that, though, in large part just because of the rarity.
Should have done it.
And we'll heal off. Oh, that gets us maxed out. Very nice. Oh. I mean... we have to, right? That's ridiculous. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, you normally wouldn't see that, right? That's only gonna happen in a Chaos trial. Didn't even see where the bow was. Ooh, hello. Ooh, you are very fast. I know you're very fast and everything, but I was kind of hoping our combo would be just enough to deal with you anyway. I think just a split second longer for that to end up being the case. Or to have our dash do a tiny bit of damage to finish you off. Okay, here's the bow.
Flourish.
Of course, we know everything is giving us Hestia stuff. We now know a little more magic to be had, though. I see those projectiles. They almost blend in a bit. That also, the fiery explosion that we are creating from one of our Hestia booms when we defeat an enemy, it does look a bit like, is that enemy dead?
I can
Way
do
they're
this.
positioned there made it hard to see. But those explosions look a bit like an enemy attack. So it is a little bit off-putting. Okay, so, I mean, take your pick. Who knows? Maybe one of these is better than the others. Maybe one of them is worse. This one is definitely worse, because this is the hardest enemy in this area, I think. By a pretty wide margin at that. Because it can do that. And I was trying to pull off the combo, and I failed miserably, and I forgot that it does still spawn... Oh, hello. Extra enemies in here as well. It's not just that mini-boss. Who is almost, but not quite, shieldless, and becomes much easier once she is shieldless. Some hits along the way. Can you just stop that, please? Thank you. So now we can do this. Now you will go down. Okay. Just breaking through that armor, which meant that we took a ton of damage in the process. Obviously, didn't want that to happen, but kind of knew when we were on this floor that at some point we were going to encounter her. It's just a matter of when. So, when I was saying a minute ago, maybe some of these are better than others, in the back of my mind, that's the one thing I was thinking of was, well, if it is guaranteed that she's going to spawn in one of these, we'd love to be as strong as possible when that happens. Attacks and specials gain more power the more fire boons we have. We have 8, so this infusion is definitely very useful. This would also be really nice, though, with this rarity. I think we have to take this. It's too good to pass up.
2 more. More whalers.
We're also kind of nasty, if I remember correctly. In general, I strongly dislike all those Banshee-esque enemies. That missed. Area of effect damage from having multiple of those guys explode right next to each other. Theoretically, one would think would help. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's better still than getting hit by that. Not quite enough damage, though, to
Accept this message.
make a huge difference. Okay, once again, really wants us to get a cast for you. Want that to be high rarity. Okay, we'll take this. This is more or less what I was talking about. yeah, because we would need to sacrifice a boon in order to turn this into heroic, so realistically epic was the best we were going to be able to get. Yeah, they're also kind of nasty. There are some tricky enemies on this floor. Oh, that was silly. But yeah, make no mistake. I know we have our fair share of experience on this floor, but still. Ah. Zeus, or not, I keep on calling Zeus, Poseidon, does have some knockback potential, I think, with some of his attacks. Which, theoretically, may be our best form of defense as a way to basically just knock people out of attacking range in some cases. There we go. So yeah, the damage is... it is not lost on me that the damage is adding up. But we do have 3 Death Defiances, so I think we're going to be fine. It's just it's not going to be quite as clean as our previous one was. Game just loves having us swap these around, except that we want to have a mixture of Poseidon and Hestia so that we can have this still be active, because this is pretty huge. Would have preferred to have seen this be a higher rarity. We have 2 rerolls left. I might use one here, to be honest. I like this one. If we got this heroic rarity, I would definitely take it.
Let's see how this goes.
Well... Ask and you shall receive. We may be getting to the point now where, much like we saw in the previous run with Zeus, there are only 2 more remaining boons for Hestia. And so it was not a coincidence that we saw all the same boons appear when we re-rolled that. Fortunately, it was just with higher rarity that time. So I think... No, this can't... Oh. I think this is the penultimate room, because although that only says location 5, given how many... locations get bundled together. I think this... We have to go here with 447 gold versus free Hermes. I mean, Hermes is oftentimes very good, but we can potentially get multiple things here. Just fingers crossed that those things are good. Yeah, I think that's still on net. Better? We can afford all this, right? 275, yeah, okay. Technically, you have a boon that makes it possible for us to get multiple rewards. We'll take you first. Foes with surrounding splash damage as they start to strike, but prime magic. Too late for this, unfortunately. We do have 1 more reroll, and this will be our last chance to use it. So we could do that here. I mean, these are high rarity. It's not horrible, but... I mean, it's kind of defensive, as I said, with the knockback stuff, although, on the other hand, we do need to then walk up to the enemy to get into attacking range once again, and special range. So, I mean, this is not horrible. Certainly not against a boss, but I'm still thinking we're probably going to reroll here, just see what we can get. But we do receive some now, actually. The gold doesn't really matter. The healing is more impactful than I wish it was, since we took a fair bit of damage. And the bones, I mean, it's a nice little bonus, but obviously this is the one time where that's going to be meaningful, because this is going to be the last room. So I think we're still re-rolling.
Infinite possibility.
Ooh, we saw this before. We turned it down. It's still not amazing, but we may very well take it. Charge cast gains a ton of power and knocks foes away, but we're just really not using cast at all. And this is a lower rarity version of what we saw before, so I think we're taking that. Gives us the life. Then go here, speaking of life, and then we'll go here and see what we get. Might have wanted to take this first, technically speaking. Oh, I forgot about this. I don't really think we need to upgrade it. I think it's already doing its job. This is not very impactful in a boss fight. But this, I mean, well. Oh, we could have used a reroll on this, I guess. Probably should have saved it for this, in fact. Because I know I was just saying this is maybe not all that necessary. On the other hand, both of these are borderline meaningless. I mean, this is a one-time 40 damage boost. And then for the ads phase, this would help a tiny bit. This would help us sustain magic. I guess we're doing this. Might not need it, but makes it a little bit easier to do that. Okay, so here we go. Hopping into Cerberus, we got enough health there that although we haven't healed, we still have more or less the amount of life that we started off with. Still don't think we're as strong as we were in the previous run, but we have some interesting combos here. I'll be curious to see how it stacks up against a full-blown boss.
You're all mired up again.
And we do have a pretty close range combo, but I think in general, close range tends to be what you want to do against Cerberus. In many cases, at least. And obviously, he has his fair share of close range attacks, but he also does things like this, that more or less necessitate that you get up close. Close to phasing, right? Ooh. Did I find a tiny little area? No, I didn't. We had a free resistance that I could use, but... Cerberus is gone. That means it's time for us to get hit by the basic enemies. Oh, it's a smoke cloud guy in the Cerberus fight? Have we ever seen that happen before? That is devious. That is cruel. Fortunately, got rid of him just as Cerberus was coming back. Kind of hoping you were going to go in the other direction. Speaking of which, where did you end up? Oh, where I was not. Always the last place you look, right? Surely he's gonna, use Fire Breath at some point, right? Feels like it's been an eternity without him doing it. Still has yet to do so. Is this it? No. Still no. I mean, the steam effect, it's not quite instantaneous damage, of course. It does have a delay, but we upgraded naturally you do this when I'm nowhere near you. It takes some time for it to take full effect, but we did accelerate it. And so basically, you do a 2-hit combo, run away for a second or two, and then rinse repeat.
Cerberus gives the princess an appreciative look.
And it's still a sizable chunk of damage, but it's hard to compete with what we saw in the previous run. Yes, it's a more difficult boss, technically speaking, and it was still very strong. And it was still very fun, but not quite on par with what we saw with the Zeus tribe.
Return to Shadow now.
I'm grateful, though that shall be all for now.
All right.
Mission complete.
That is mission number 2, now complete. And then I'm thinking maybe we go for one more here. So we had a 1 eyeball and now a 2 eyeball difficulty trial complete. And we have a few here that have 3 eyeballs listed. That is now the lowest we have. That could be a decent place for us to go next. But it means it may not be obvious which direction we want to go here. Let's see, we have the option of going the Aphrodite route. I won't lie to you. Seeing the Rift of Thessaly does make me hesitant to go this route, because that does mean Eris, who is my arch nemesis. So, don't know about this one, even if Aphrodite has been someone who we've targeted on seemingly almost every run. And alternatively, back in Erebus, so first floor, aspect of Malinui on the torches. It's a whole lot of torch stuff. Our first 2 trials were both torches, right? And then these 2 are also both torches? With the vow of rivals in effect. Okay. That's why this one has the extra eyeballs then. Mirror the movements of the Witch of the Crossroads through the mists of Erebus as might her own shadow. Oh, okay. As in, not the kind of might I was thinking of. Not as in physical might. Okay. So that one intrigues me a bit, and it seems like the build is supposed to be based on her as well. She has torches, right? Yeah, that is her weapon, and the silver wheel is her keepsake as well. It gives what? Either flat magic or magic restoration? That might have been what it used to do. So, and then Vow of Rivals, we know what we're getting into in that case, a more difficult boss fight. Hopefully, we still have a decent set of Arcana and or starting boons, or at least boons we can pick up, and then we've done our fair share of rival Hecate fights. If there are other things adding to the difficulty, then that could prove to be fairly challenging at that point. Otherwise, we go to Ephira, Aspect of Molinui on the Skull, and Luckier Tooth. Vow of Rivals. Okay, I'm not a fan of the Vow of Rivals here, though. Let's see. Ankh Scepter, not a huge fan of that one. We did recently try the Aspect of Morrigan. We could take that to Oceanus. Wield the Crow Cutters, pierce the stout defenses of heavily protected foes lurking in the depths of Oceanus. It sounds like maybe some fear-related difficulty modifiers that give enemies more armor. Aspect of Hell I do really like. Wield the Frostmane to incinerate the enraged lost souls that dare lash out at you within the haunted mists of Erebus. I don't know what that's getting at. I think we go with, where was it? This one. It's Rival Hecate. We know what we're getting into from that standpoint. We haven't really used the silver wheel, but I am curious what other aspects is a term of art. I shouldn't use that term. What other components we may have working in our favor in this one. Aspect of Molinui. Also, I don't know if we've ever upgraded that, have we? For the torches? In many cases, that is one of my preferred aspects for other weapon varieties, but we haven't done that for this one at all. If we do, it gets a base crit chance. I mean, we have a lot of silver, with plenty of cinder, a lot of silver as well, and there's a chance that there are other things, yeah, that may still require some of that silver. I thought there was at least one relatively big, interesting aspect that we wanted to upgrade with it, so maybe we'll hold off for now. Hopefully, it's enough to just roll with this as is. So here goes nothing. It's our third trial using the torches. Okay, so I think, oh, it's Selene right off the bat. Now, usually I'm not a huge fan of Selene early on, because it tends to require more setup. Okay, your specials grow in size and deal up to 25% damage the longer they are active. Okay, so it does seem like this is supposed to be special-oriented. Which was sort of the case with the previous run as well, special plus attack. We have Golly. We have... Let's see. Charge moves are faster. Channel your charge moves. Everything moves slower. X charges up automatically. That's definitely helpful for Selene. Deal extra damage to foes in our casts. Have more life and magic. Good. Restore magic over time. Okay, so several things that are Selene oriented. Yeah, if we're sort of trying to copy Hecate with our build here, which seems like what the game is more or less trying to force us into, then she is supposed to be magic oriented, which I guess makes sense for a sorceress of sorts. So that makes sense, I guess. If you have a bunch of magic, probably means you're going to go with hexes. So that's why we get a bunch of magic and hex stuff early on. Have 9% chance to deal critical damage with each move in a charge combo if we do charges in quick succession. I don't know if we've ever done that. I don't think we've taken this Arcana card before. Death Defiances, that's very helpful. Especially if we may not have as much of an OP build this time. Life and magic over time as we progress. Don't get hit first 3 times in the boss fight, and then we have... Oh, this is the location reroll we can do once. Okay, and this one is just Vow of Rivals. Okay, so it's pretty similar to starting a fresh run with the Vow of Rivals active. So it's not that much of a foreign territory, you know, completely out there type of Chaos Trial. Or so it seems at the moment.
I draw you down, O moon. Lend me your light.
Another evening filled with possibility. I ride from dawn and cannot stay for long. I see your own night's journey has begun, so let us shine together, now and always.
Seems like a very generic Lionel. So, it's a little strange for her to be saying that here. Feels like it would be one of the first things she ever says to us. But I ride from dawn is such a cool phrase to say when she is the moon. Okay, let's see.
Look forth.
So, the Hex may be an important thing to consider here. It could be pretty critical. Hex deals a large blast after 4 seconds. It's been a little while since we took this, but there was a time when that was one of my preferred ones. Hex launches a seeking projectile that inflicts morph. Hex makes everything else move 50% slower for 4 seconds. I mean, against a boss, thinking about the Hecate fight and trying to optimize for that, this would be the most helpful, although 4-second delay does make it hard to hit, because she is fairly mobile, especially in the rival form. So you could almost make the case for this. And it does benefit, theoretically, the most from future upgrades, which may end up being a thing. It could be that we're going to be showered with Selene. So let's try that. That charges up quickly. No. Okay. So Hermes, we'll definitely keep it. Remember, we can reroll one of those. We're not very used to having rerolls for the room rewards. Alright, get that. Thank you. Is it just our charge special that gets the bonus from that hammer upgrade? Because that is the one thing that we are starting off with that we would not usually have at the beginning of a normal run. I really don't like how those enemies more or less have, if not the same area of effect that we have, might even have more than we have initially. Just makes it really hard to do anything to them, except, yeah, the cast is really helpful against them.
Okay.
We haven't had much reason to use the casts in the previous 2 runs.
You need a lift, because I've got one. 3, in fact.
Oh? Those range shots are much slower. Dash more frequently. Each time we slay a foe, deal more damage for 45 seconds. I mean, we definitely don't have the crazy, overpowered build to start off with here, so it's harder to turn this into a feedback loop with the mean streak. None of these are screaming out to me as obvious options. Does Rival Hecate have many projectiles? Her ads do. And in her second phase, she does when she transforms you. I assume you can't use this to just never transform in that phase. I'm pretty sure we've tried to run away from it on at least one prior occasion when we had extra speed or something like that. Maybe reduce foe range shot speed. But eventually it did still catch up to us. So I don't think that's a thing. None of these are great, it seems. I had higher expectations than this. I feel like that's generally
Spring in my step.
maybe a safer option. Okay, I'm gonna try to go the Selene route. This is a little bit dangerous because Selene is she's usually, as I was sort of saying before, she's a boom or bust kind of thing. We have a lot of Selene going on as I tried to dodge and then proceeded to just get hit by more of them. If you have a lot of them, it can be amazing. If you don't have a lot of them, it's pretty, at times, borderline useless.
Choose your path.
So, what do you do when we're all the way here? During the Hex, you have better chance for crit. Okay. Oh, but we didn't upgrade the aspect here, so we don't have higher base crit chance. Start with it charged. After we use it, we take less damage. It lasts for longer. Take less damage. Oh, what are these? Gain extra damage per foe slain, which lasts until you use it again. That's kinda nice. Depending on how many enemies you can get with that, that could be the equivalent of, or potentially an improvement upon, the what is usually 5% bonus damage in the room after using your Hex. What is this one? Death Defiance effects will fully recharge if your Hex is not ready. What? Oh. Oh. Okay, I misread that. I thought that meant that your Death Defiances would come back if your Hex is not ready. But it's sort of the other way around. Your Hex comes back when you use a Death Defiance if your Hex isn't already ready to go. Okay. So, it's so rare that we take this one. I think we took it once, realized that it doesn't work on Kronos, or at least initially doesn't work on Kronos until you do an upgrade at the Incantation Cauldron. And then we just never went back to it again. So, not used to having these upgrade options, and I don't love them, to be honest with you. This is not really a direct source of damage, so I'm already regretting going the all-in on Selene route. I mean, there is still some time to turn back, but it's not great. Or with it 40% charged. I want to see what this one is. You really don't want me to get to. If it lasts longer, it has a base duration of 4 seconds. Eek. I don't know, man. I don't know. Not thrilled about it. If we were to do this, we can basically use it immediately. Honestly, might not be a terrible idea, although would be nice to get over there, and we're one away if we make a beeline for it. To tell you the truth, I don't know if that's all that significant, because I think in just about every situation, you're getting at least 2 Path of Stars points. Maybe we just make it last longer?
Illumination.
Okay, yep. I'm getting the hints here. Now I'm kind of just... Oh. It's taking longer to charge up than I realized. I mean, did we not take one of the ones that makes it charge up 40% at the beginning of the encounter? I didn't think I'd have to wait long for it to arrive, and yet I looked in the bottom corner and saw, no, you're gonna need to wait a while. I see you. I see you too. You are not the last enemies, and I don't like that you spawned more or less directly on top of me. Ooh, I didn't realize I was dashing straight into that. So I'm kind of hoping that since I wasn't over there, you weren't paying attention to me. So yeah, it's a very slow and steady setup. Oh, and also confirmation, this is base magic is what that does. Okay, so did we take that? No, we haven't taken it yet. Now we can. It means it's going to cost more to activate it, which means now this becomes much more meaningful. Do that, or we could start working toward this. I mean, having the extra duration on it, small though that might be, does potentially increase the amount of damage we can get, since it only counts the bonus damage for how many enemies you kill during that window, and if you do it multiple times, then you're just resetting the number. So, high frequency does not give you more damage from this. Longer duration actually does, potentially. But I think that's still pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. I think we want that, to be honest with you. And I guess, I don't know. We should probably head over toward the other notable one. Okay, we basically no gold. So we could do that, or we could take life. We don't have much in the way of bonus life right now. We can alter one room. I mean, this is not atrocious. I'm just wondering, there may never be any boons. Any basic boons. It might be exclusively Selene, life, magic, coins, and then shops that give us those things. Because we did not start with any boons, and we still have yet... Oh, we did get Hermes, though. I mean, he still is kind of in a different category, because he doesn't have an attack, special, cast, sprint, or revenge damage boon. He's sort of all supporting boons. So that may still prove to be the case. Maybe... And this is technically worth more than gold is. At a shop, at least, it would be worth more. Not what I was looking for. Okay, that's a little frustrating. Get locked onto the other enemy or something like that when I was trying to basically stun lock the first one. It was seemingly working fairly well. And just to still get hit. And then they spawn right on top of me. Lovely. Yeah, this is not a build that I would ever really make a point of going for myself. Oh, no, I just happen to be right there as well. That's lovely, too. Okay.
Rest now, all of you.
See, that's not really something that I'm interested in from an encounter standpoint, with basically no tools to work with here against a mini-boss. Yes, it gives us a Hestia boon, which is very nice when you consider that we have no attack, special, or cast boons. On the other hand, the alternative is a shop where we almost certainly can't afford anything. So I guess we don't have an alternative. Not a fan.
You can't stop me
And it is
anymore.
you. That stuns. I know how I want to approach this situation. At least you have far less health than the version of this boss, mini-boss we saw in the Fields of Morning a while back. Okay, now that you don't have armor, this is far, far easier. Can't remember if your tails go down as soon as the base enemy does, and it does. Okay, so that's good. Not nearly as bad as I thought that might turn out to be.
Dad and I got on all right, comparatively speaking, I suppose. After we put the Titans in their place, though, he went down into your underworld and I drifted away like a spark from a flame.
I actually don't know who Hestia's parents are. I mean, what she's saying here makes it sound like Hades is her father? I did not realize, in which case she would technically be our sister. Your dad and I got on all right now, but that doesn't sound like it. No, can't be the case. I mean, I assumed she was the same generation as Hades, not a generation below that, like us. So we could get an attack boon, we could get a special boon. Magic restoration, don't have much reason to, well, we don't have the basic tools to work with, so I'd like one of these. Which one is better? We do technically have charge special stuff. Or even basic special stuff. So, I guess we prioritize this?
Excellent.
And then it's possible to get a palm now because that's the first upgradable boon that we now have. I'm a little tempted to reroll this, actually, because palm is of the same room reward category as boons. Could turn into Selene, could turn into gold. Those would probably be... Technically, gold is the same value as a palm upgrade. Probably would prefer a palm upgrade, just to guarantee that we can actually turn it into something meaningful. Maybe not, because we have only 70 gold at the moment. It could turn into life, or it could turn into magic, which would be unfortunate in that case. You know what? We're going to keep it as a palm.
You'll regret this.
Please go away. At least we have a little bit more stuff to work with now that we have the special. Okay, which is now going to get upgraded because it's the only thing that we can upgrade at the moment. Percentage-wise, it's actually a pretty big boost. Okay, so now here it gets a little bit interesting because, yes, if we were to go all in on Selene, as we have done thus far, I think the game might more or less be offering us the option to max out every single Selene upgrade option. We have done that before, so it's not like that's something we have on our bucket list, and I think when we did it before, it also was just a better hex to max out, whereas this one, as I was saying, just doesn't really feel like it's as useful, at least given how it is not a primary damage dealer, and we, until very recently, did not have any other boons to go along with it. It was like a really good support hex with nothing to support. So, maybe in a different circumstance, it could be good, but that is not the situation we find ourselves in right now. So I think we are still going Aphrodite here. If we find Selene later on, then of course we may still opt to do that, but given the choice between these two, I think we have to go this route. Sloppy. Could have done a better job of getting rid of your armor, so that could guarantee that I was stunning you. Speaking of sloppy. You're being annoying. Except you're also kind of surrounded by other enemies, which does make it a bit of a pain to get over to you. Just do that. There's two of you here. Okay, that explains a lot. There we go.
So fiery old Hestia has taken to you, hmm? You should be very proud, for typically she can't be bothered, and she cannot be impressed.
Another very generic line. Then again, we take Hestia so infrequently that there's probably a lot of people who have lines like that about her we still have yet to hear. Okay, so very common rarity. Anything useful to work with, though? Attacks gain 5 base power, prime 20 magic. I do like this one sometimes when we have... This is technically not the primary Aphrodite attack boon. It's sort of a secondary supporting attack boon. We do have a lot of magic, but we don't have an attack boon to build upon this, which is a bit unfortunate. Don't really need to restore magic. We already have magic restoration things. Looking for damage. I guess it's still going to be that. Here, I think we will go back to Selene, as I was saying before. We could potentially have looked to reroll there, I guess. Mini shop is... I don't know how useful that's really going to be honest with you. Given how little monies we have. Kind of... If we have any intention of doing things in a full-blown shop, we're going to have to save more or less all of our monies to do that. There we go. Okay. So now here, we can, yeah, get up to you, I think is probably what we're looking for. And, oh, just barely. Okay, I didn't realize we hadn't taken this yet. But increasing the duration does make it easier, as I was saying before, to benefit from this. Actually, what is the total duration? It'll be easier to see once we're
Thus you have
over
risen.
here. Plus 2.5 seconds. It has a base 4-second duration, so it's 6.5-second duration. So that is pretty crazy. And now we're getting pretty close to the end of the floor. Just see what we have here. Healing. I mean, are we even gonna get a new boon? Otherwise, the healing would probably be the most intriguing thing. If we're gonna reroll, I think this is the... whatever the word for the room... the thing that comes before penultimate. The semi-penultimate room? I think that's what this is here. Or, if not, the one before that. So, point being, we're running out of time to re-roll a room if that is something that interests us. So, I think maybe we can still get some value out of you. It is more... the equivalent of more gold than a gold room. We're still not with enough gold to buy something, a boon from a shop, so it'd be nice to hit 150 so we can do that, if that is even a possibility going forward, which I think it should be, but it's not a given. Or we re-roll here and just cross our fingers that we do get a boon for free. Maybe... let's re-roll.
Not this.
Okay, it's technically worth less, but we'll do it. It does, lead to more direct power, at least. Get rid of you, good, because I wanted to prioritize that. Oh, but if more of you get very annoying in crowded rooms, and this has the potential to become that. I still got hit by it. What a fool. Okay, well, we know what's getting upgraded. Special hits a little bit harder. Hey, look at that, an actual boon. Okay, otherwise we get what is going to continue to be diminishing returns on a boon that we are not even that big a fan of to begin with. And this could potentially lead to us getting some freeze effects. That was also very sloppy. Which would be kind of fitting, because in a way, that's sort of the closest thing to what our Hex is. Our Hex slows a bunch of stuff down. Freeze also slows things down. So if you combine those two together, I don't know how that works mathematically in the game. That's multiplicative or additive when you combine multiple different slowing effects. Because if it is additive, how much does freeze slow enemies down? It might be approaching 100% reduced speed. Are they standing still?
Of the earth. Life flourishes even there where you reside, amid all that death. Flowers, roots, herbs, and seeds. You know their hidden strength. I let them grow for you.
Okay. Another very generic line, but... okay, so this is, yes, a way for us to potentially get some freeze. So, that's not the base cast, that's the gust cast. Okay, so we have only one way to get the freeze, and it is this, and so I will take it.
Desolation.
In that case, this is the penultimate room, and as we suspected, more and more Selene offerings. Actually, I'd be curious to see. I mean, we've taken a bunch, but not all of them, and if we were to go this route, then I think it's basically free Selene. We would get, did we get the one that, yes, gives us crit damage, or no, this is just normal damage, based on enemies slain during the effect, but, could we have maxed out Selene with more Selene boons to spare, in which case would we enter into a Selene room and we just wouldn't get anything? Or would that basically force the game to replace what would have been a Selene room with something else entirely? I don't know. Be kind of curious to see. As we, of course, as we saw in the other 2 trials today, we're flirting with running out of boons of a given god or goddess, so would that prevent them from showing up in the future? Maybe. I think we still go this way. There's a chance that the stuff that shows up in the shop is bad, but we have the potential to get 1 boon. Unlikely that we could afford anything beyond that, but even if it's a heart, okay, that's fine, I guess. Palm, we'll take it. All those things might still be better than Selene. At this stage, at least, when we already have most of the things we're looking for from Selene. So I think Hephaestus plus this is probably still for the best. It's a 50-50 if we take this now, because it's a random boon that gets upgraded. These are the only 2 who can get upgraded. This would get pretty serious diminishing returns at this point. This probably what we'd like to see, and it was not what got upgraded. Okay. Otherwise, you do this, and usually it affects cooldowns, not base damage, or at least for the big slammy hammer moves.
In the name of Hades.
So in hindsight, maybe going here first would have been preferable. Although I don't want to have to sacrifice our attack boon. Was really hoping for a basic damage dealing boon. Not magic restoration. And not really defensive stuff either. Although, might have to go this route at this point. Alright.
My silver.
Maybe the attack boon was actually the way to go, since at least gives us burst damage potential. Here we go. It is Rival Hecate, remember?
That was quick.
No, it wasn't.
You bear the wheel trinket I bestowed. I once used it to hone my craft. May it now help you do the same.
Yeah, I think this is our first time ever using this trinket, and therefore, this keepsake. Therefore, the first time Hecate would ever have reason to bring it up.
This wheel, a labyrinth with no beginning and no end. Pathways that circle back upon themselves, like Erebus.
Suppose so.
Like life itself. 3 stages intertwined. Let us go through the stages now.
Alright. Yep. She is mad at the beginning. Woo, hello. Okay, I think we do want to more or less spam this as much as we can. In part because we take less damage once we've done it. For the rest of the encounter. Not that it doesn't stack, but it just means if we get hit in the future now, it's not as big of a deal. Oops. We are blown through some resistances, but the fact that we have those is nice, and we still have 3 death defiances, so, you know. I would like to have more damage to expedite this a lot, but defensively, I think we have enough to work with here that we should still be fine regardless. And this is still maybe the rival Hecate fight, but even in that case, she is the first boss encounter, and so don't really think the game expects you to have crazy damage at this point. That's the first phase, at least.
To me, my sisters.
Is that enough to take them out? I think so. Ooh, don't dash into that.
Let's see you evade this.
One moment. I'm just waiting for that other enemy to die to the dot. That is the real Hecate. What are you doing? Well, that dealt a lot of damage. Wow. I think it was mostly because... Oh, that was a horrible place to stand. I did not realize you were doing that. I think it was mostly because we were able to spam a few specials in there. Yeah, we might end up using a Death Defiance just because I got more aggressive than I should have been. Look at how much damage over time she's taking, though. That's insane. Oh, that still hit us. Okay, yeah, so we get hit once or twice more, and we will have to use Death Defiance, but as I said, you know. Alright. Maybe a bit of a injured pride in that case, but grand scheme of things, not a huge deal, and I admittedly kind of just was going into face tank on several occasions, accepting the fact that we were gonna trade life for damage. So, wouldn't read too much into that. I wouldn't, won't take it too personally. That was bad, but, oh, I did not see that you were slow. It's not the real one either. You're gonna do some of your dark magic stuff for big bursts of damage? Yes, those things. We ate a whole bunch of those in the previous phase. It's one of the reasons why we took a whole bunch of damage. Is it you? I think it's you. Yep. Excuse me. Nope. Oh, well, don't run into that either. It is interesting, though, to see what... I mean, yes, we upgraded the Hex... Or not the Hex, the Special a few times. But it wasn't like it was a crazy high rarity or anything like that. So, I didn't really think it was going to be anything special. I forget if it's normal... No, it's rare rarity. But it didn't seem like that was going to be enough to be a real difference maker. It's doing more heavy lifting than I expected, though. I did not think it was... And again, it's kind of like we saw in the previous run. It's not all front-loaded damage. It takes a little while to see all of it. But if you give it time, it does actually turn into a decent source of damage. Alright, there we go. We had 5 life left. There's no death defiances necessary after all, even if, as I said, we got a little sloppy / at times just accepted that we were going to trade life to deal damage with what was otherwise going to be a very low damage setup, although maybe I was selling this a little bit short. So you see the 70 and you think, oh, that's not a huge number. You see some stuff, especially at level 4, where you'd think it'd be breaking the triple digit mark, except you have to consider that afflicted foes take 100 damage accrued from this every 1 second. So you get the 70 damage, but you also get the 100 damage every second. I don't know how long it lasts for, but I also am not sure to what extent this stacks. It seems like it does stack if you can hit enemies multiple times with it, and that's when you start to see their life bar just very quickly start depleting with a dot effect, but so much so that it's almost like it's a big burst of upfront damage. And there we go.
And done.
Chaos observes all.
Me then. No. Return to Shadow now.
Another trial successfully completed, Spawn of Hades.
Alright, so another trial down.
Chaos shall be pleased.
Chaos shall be pleased. There are still plenty of trials that remain here, although I do think that's probably a good stopping point for us. Oh, and here we can see, okay, it tells us what our quickest run time was for each of them, and it also says if you repeat it, rather than getting the crafting reward for the ones that are new, as we see here, in this case we get a small amount of bones, but I mean, if you were to do one of the ones that is super easy, like we did the Zeus one that we did a minute ago, and you just repeatedly do that, I don't know if you can non-stop farm it for more bones, or if it's just a one-time offer to get that amount of bones, but you could speed through some of those quite quickly. And is it gonna be the most efficient way to farm bones? Probably not, but as I said, some of them are really fun, so it's nice to at least have the option to do them again for that reason, if nothing else. But either way, that is it for today, and as for next time, we are expecting to be in for the full release, so we'll be shifting gears back from Chaos Trials into normal run, so very much looking forward to that. Thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.